it's me, Miss Chacon. We are back. Today is Thursday, and today we're going to be learning about American symbols. Now, American symbols are so cool. They're things that are really important to our country, America. So that's what we're going to learn about today. If you notice, today I'm wearing my Teacher Llama shirt. And I wear it because being a teacher has been something that I've wanted to do since I was so little, since I was your age. I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher. And I say that because this next coming week, we're going to be having our own career day. Now, for career day, you can be anything you want to be. You could be so what I want you to do is I want you to think, what is my dream job? What do I want to be when I grow up? When I was little, I knew that I wanted to be a teacher, and I became a teacher. That's why I'm teaching you now. But wait, what do you want to be? Because in first grade, the possibilities are endless. You can be anything that you want to be. So I want you to think really hard and think about, what career do I want when I grow up? Okay? And just a reminder, please go on Class Dojo in the morning and in the night. We just finished our Zoom meeting, which was yesterday, and I hope you had a great time. We read Rainbow Fish, and it was really fun. Next week, we're going to do some more fun things, so please come on next week if you weren't able to come on Wednesday, okay? So it's going to be every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, all right, friends? Okay, so also, if you need any help knowing what we're going to be doing this week, today we're doing problem solving in math, American symbols in language arts, which is this lesson right here. And then tomorrow, Friday, we're doing picture graphs and blending the long I. I may change the language arts, but I'm not sure yet, okay? All right, and it's in Spanish and English. Okay, let's get started. Memorials and historic buildings. Now, memorials are something that was built in honor of somebody who did something very brave and they died. So a memorial can be a statue, it can be a building, it can be a library, and it's built because somebody did something really awesome, and because of that, people wanted to build something for them to say, you know what, let's remember them. So it's like a celebration. We're remembering someone who did something really great. And historic means the past. Remember, we're learning about the past, the present, and the future. So what we're going to learn about right now is the past of our country, America. So let's get started. So memorials and historic buildings. Now you may recognize some of these. This is Mount Rushmore. It's a huge mountain with presidents' faces on it. Here is the St. Louis Arch. So it's like a big arch. It's called the Gateway Arch, and it's huge. I've seen it in real life. I'll post pictures of it if you want. It's so cool. And here's a really great library. So we have the White House. Remember we learned about the White House? That is a historic building because it's important to America and it was built in the past. Here's the Capitol building. This is where this is where they make laws. So all these laws that we have now, those are made right here at the Capitol building. So we have all these really cool buildings that I really want you to learn about because they're important to America's history. And so let's get started. So here's some words to think about. First word is citizens. Some buildings and statues honor great citizens. Now, what is a citizen? A citizen is you. A citizen is me. A citizen is your friend. A citizen is your other friend. Anybody who was born in the United States or became a citizen, but they were not born in the United States, those are citizens. So a citizen is somebody who is living in the United States, and they're all they're all Americans. So if you're American, then you're a citizen. Now, you can be a citizen by one, being born in the United States. So I was born in the United States, and I'm pretty sure you were born in the United States, so you are a citizen. Now, there's another way you can become a citizen too, and It's a great way. So for some people who were not born in the United States, maybe they were born in Mexico, maybe they were born in El Salvador, maybe they were born in Armenia. If we have some people who were born in another country, but when they came to the United States, they wanted to become a citizen. So what they do is they study for a test really, really hard, just like you study for your test. They study for a test really, really hard. They take the test, and then they get to wave their beautiful American flag and they become a citizen. So, being a citizen, you don't have to be born here to become a citizen. It's just one way to be a citizen. But being a citizen means that we all have a responsibility to treat America kindly and to make America a better place. So, being a citizen doesn't mean you have to be born here. It just means that you're an American who's trying to make the world a better place. Now we have this thing called Congress. Now it says Congress has senators and representatives from each state. So Congress is a place where they make laws. So Congress is a gathering of a bunch of people that they all come together. So there's one from each state. So we're from California. So we have people we send from California and we say, hey, go to the Capitol and make sure that you make good laws for California. And then where there's people from New York, and they send people from New York to the Capitol, and they say, hey, go make good laws for New York. So we send people from all around the country to make sure that every state's voice is heard. And that's called Congress. Now we have historic. It says the Betsy Ross House is a historic building. Historic means that it happened in the past, and it's important to us now, so it's historic. Memorial. Memorial is another word we're learning. The memorial honors Benjamin Franklin. So a memorial could be a statue, it could be a building, it could be anything. And it was built in honor of somebody who is no longer with us, they are no longer alive, but they did something really great. So we have memorials for Benjamin Franklin, Abraham Lincoln. We have memorials for veterans. Veterans are people who fought for our country. So that's what memorials are. It's that we build something great for somebody so that we remember them and that we celebrate them. Now we have the Minutemen. Minutemen were soldiers in the American Revolution. So way back when we had a war called the American Revolution, and that war was so that we could have this country we call America. And the people who fought for America were called Minutemen. So think of Minutemen. All right, and president. Abraham Lincoln was an American president. The president is, so other countries may have a king, they may have a prime minister, they may have all those things, but we have what's called a president. The president is the leader of our country. So that's why we call him the president. Okay, so introduction. A memorial helps us remember the past. A memorial is a building or structure that honors important people and events. That makes me feel happy because we're remembering the past and we're remembering why it's important. The Gateway Arch is in St. Louis, Missouri, is a memorial to pioneers who traveled west. So that's a memorial to people who traveled west. Now it says, a historic building is notable and important. A historic building helps us learn about our country's past. So this is Independence Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Declaration of Independence was signed here about 250 years ago. So this is Independence Hall. And the Declaration of Independence is this great piece of paper that our founding fathers signed when they wanted to create America. And up at the top of Independence Hall, they have this really cool thing called the Liberty Bell. It's a huge bell, and you're going to want to remember that, the Liberty Bell, because later on, you're going to have to find out what is the Liberty Bell. So you're going to be doing that, okay? All right. Now we have Chapter 1, Memorials to Presidents. Mount Rushmore is a memorial to honor 4 presidents or leaders of the United States. This guy right here is George Washington. He was the first president of the United States. This guy right here is Thomas Jefferson. He's another president. Here we have right here Theodore Roosevelt. And this guy right here, that's Abraham Lincoln. So workers carved the faces of the presidents into the side of the mountain. So they carve. They got these sharp metal sticks and they were carving, and they carved these huge faces into the mountain. Each face is about 18 meters or 60 feet long. So I'm about 5 feet long, and they're 60 feet. So you're going to have a lot of me's making up that one face right now. That's crazy. Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota, by the way. So if you ever want to visit South Dakota, that's where you can see Mount Rushmore. These presidents also have memorials in Washington, D.C. George Washington was the first president. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. So here's the Washington Monument. It's this huge structure, and it was built for George Washington, and it's a memorial. The Washington Monument is a memorial for George Washington, who was our first president. Then we have this Jefferson Memorial. It's a beautiful building. See how pretty it looks with the sunset? He's the one who wrote the Declaration of Independence. So he was one of our founding fathers, so it's important that we remember him too. Here's the Lincoln Memorial. It's this huge statue of Abraham Lincoln sitting on his chair. And Abraham Lincoln freed many enslaved people and kept the country united. So he was the one who kept our country from splitting apart, and he freed the slaves. Now we have Theodore Roosevelt helped to preserve our nation's parks and forests. We have beautiful parks and forests in the United States, and I hope that after all of this is over, some of you will be able to visit some of our beautiful national parks. And those parks were instead of tearing them down and creating more cities and stuff like that, Theodore Roosevelt helped make sure that our parks and our beautiful nature was preserved, that was kept safe. All right, so we won't be reading about the Minutemen, but they were people who fought for our country. Now we have historic buildings. The United States Capitol, so this is the Capitol. The United States Capitol is a historic building in Washington, D.C. The members of Congress work there. They make the laws or the rules of the country. So it says Congress has senators and representatives from each state. They work in the Capitol building. The White House is the home of the President of the United States. The President also works there. Both of these buildings are more than 200 years old. So this is the White House and this is the Capitol. A lot of people get these two buildings mixed up because they're both white. But the White House is a lot shorter, and the Capitol has a dome at the top. So it has this big dome. You see it right there? So the dome, it's kind of like a circle or an egg. It looks like an egg at the top. And the address of the White House is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And a good way to memorize it, if you know, is a song. It's called 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, come and visit me. So that's how you remember the address of the White House. And right here is a statue of Sacagawea. That's another memorial. The statue of Sacagawea, the Native American guide and interpreter, stands in the Capitol building. So here's Sacagawea, and she is inside the Capitol building. So she was an interpreter and she was Native American. So she helped the American people discover different parts of the country. So in conclusion, memorials honor people from the past. Some memorials honor presidents. Other memorials honor brave citizens. Historic buildings are old, important buildings. These buildings help us learn about our country's past. So they're so important, my friends. We always need to learn about our country's past because it tells us why we're here in the present and what what happened in the past, and what happened in the past helped us get here to the present. So we have our memorials to the president, which is the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Sacagawea statue, which is a memorial to a brave citizen, and historic buildings like the Capitol and the White House. So that's the end of our story for today. But before you go, what we're going to do is we have this. So it's called Write the Room American Symbols. So what your job to do today is identify, you have to name these 6 American symbols. So these symbols are so important to the United States that we need to know what they are. So here is a picture of a building. I can't tell you what building, but you can ask your parents and say, Mom, Dad, what building is this? Remember, we learned about this building before. This building is very important, and I'll give you a hint. It's where the president lives. So this building right here is very important. So once you figure out what building this is and why it's important to America, once you figure out what building it is, name the building right here, okay? Now here is a bird. Now you may think, oh, that's just another bird. No, it's a very special kind of bird. Now you may not know what kind of bird this is, so what you're going to do is you're going to look it up, and it is America's bird. So this is our national bird. It's a very important American symbol. So this is part of why we are America. So just remember to look it up and find out what kind of bird is this. This bird is very important to us. And look at this. Everybody should know what this is. Everybody should know what flag this is. Okay? So you're going to name that flag. Who is this? I'll give you a hint. He was our first president, our very first president. So remember that. And he is an American symbol because the first president of the United States helped create America. And that's very important. Now number 5 is another president. He has a top hat, a beard, and he was the 16th president. He also helped end slavery. So, which president is he? You're going to have to look him up and figure out who was the 16th president. Which president helped end slavery? Remember, you can have your parents help you or your grandparents help you name these American symbols because these symbols are so important for us to learn before we end first grade. And finally, we got this bell right here. Now, remember earlier where I talked about a special bell? So you may want to go back to earlier in this video and find out which bell is this. It looks like an important bell. So once you know the name of this bell, go ahead and name it right here, okay? So we have 6 different symbols that you have to name. These 6 symbols are so important to our country because a part of our country this is a part of the past of our country. And it's so important because the past helped create our present and it's going to help our future. So that's it for today. Please remember to stay safe. I hope you all had a great time on our Zoom call. Thank you so much for being awesome students. Keep doing such a great job. All right, that's it, my friends. Bye.